couldn't resist, man. I just couldn't resist. I thought,
epic. Pure
it's
epicness.
epic. It's
I hope you don't get
epic.
claimed
Hello,
for epicness.
everyone. It's me. It's Nico Leroux, Double V, the Viceroy. Verisimilitude is here in his house. Minus my usual co-host because AJ doesn't have a table. Was the excuse. Knees are not good enough for AJ. One must have a table to put laptop on.
Wow.
But I am not coming unarmed. Big Tone is here joining us. Big Tone, what up, my man?
Yeah, happy to be here once again in the zone.
Big Tone in the zone. Yeah, Big Tone is, I mean, AJ, yes, 3 things are sure in life, death, taxes, and AJ talking about comic book movies. But I'll tell you what, no shade on my brother from another mother. If I want to talk comic book movies, Big Tone's the man. This guy, I still don't believe you, but this is the guy who claims that he knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were before the Guardians of the Galaxy movie released.
Yeah, I told you, man. Look, basically, it's a simple story. When Civil War was coming out, yeah, I was a bit too cheap to like actually go and buy the graphic novel, so I procured from sources unknown the whole run of Marvel Comics for that year. And they actually had that version, that lineup of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And from there, sometimes it's like the iceberg, and the rabbit hole, you just go deeper and deeper. Found out about the Guardians of the Galaxy, the multiple versions, and even characters that they have are like they have in different positions, but actually on the team. So, it's quite a deep history of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, you are probably along with the late great John Schnepp, the one guy who knew who the hell the Guardians were. Because I mean, I
think Dan does as well. I think Dan knew who they were as well.
Then fair. If Dan the tech knew, fair play. But bro, I'll be real. I'm deep into Marvel. Like Strange was my guy when everyone at school was running around going Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine. Fuck that. Doctor Strange is my guy, and they were like, who? And I was like, okay, yeah, so I'm quite deep.
You know what? It was the same. It was the same for Iron Man. Like I was shouting Iron Man's praises years before he became a household name due to the cartoon. Like the cartoon again made me go check out the comics. And Iron Man, how can you not love him? Demon in a bottle.
when he was still what was it? A backup dancer. Who knew, right? Yeah. And now the way they're writing the cartoons and shit is like Spider-Man's fanboying over Iron Man. It's like, shit, rewind that clock 20 years. It wasn't like that before, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did tell people to go watch Iron Man, the film, because I thought it was going to be fire. Little did I know that he was going to do what he was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, Big Tone is someone who I do like to bring in when we're talking IPs and very nerdy stuff because the man knows the big nerdy stuff. And according to Rob Barber, as does Irina the Nerd from the Bigger Movie Podcast, one of the best podcasts out there that isn't ours. So we have got to pay our respects to the dearly departed Kevin Conroy because there have been very, very few. What would you say? Actors, voice actors, talent, celebrities, personalities who have genuinely brought me to tears. He's my 4th. I've got Robin Williams turned me into a blubbering little bitch when he passed. Carrie Fisher, that one hurt. Muhammad Ali, funnily enough, that one really hurt me. And now we've got Kevin Conroy. For me, he's Batman. He's the best Batman. He's the most complete Batman. He's the one because just based on the amount of time that he's had to grind his teeth with this character, he has had the most time to get to know this character, arguably better than anyone who's portrayed him. And what I love is his story about how, he started as a stage actor. He was from Juilliard, he was there with Robin Williams and Kelsey Grammer. He was a Juilliard baby. He was a theater actor and he just went to read this role. And at the time, the idea of casting a homosexual in a role like this was just unheard of. And the fact that his voice was that powerful and the performance of his demo was that good that apparently he just left the producers in like big-eyed silence and they said, yep, you're Batman. And he is, and he changed the game, be it in the animated movies, obviously the iconic animated series that we just opened with, and shit, man, even in the video games, like the guy is, oh god, press L1 to even the odds. Come on.
Nah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, like, as a child, most of us would have grew up with two people as Batman, and then later on three. Yeah, so we would have started with the Adam West like
Right.
reruns. Yeah, but then like because of our age, you wouldn't have been old enough to see the Batman Keaton movie straight away. But
Sure.
you know, you would have got round to it. But the main source, and who we would know as Batman would always be Kevin Conroy. And that epic opener every, like, you know, Saturday morning, you just gotta go down the stairs, watch it.
Gotta do it.
And that
Saturday
voice,
morning.
and the fact that they used him in so many projects over the years just is a testament to itself.
I mean, it
Like,
speaks volumes, doesn't it? Like the animated
the
show
Arkham
was.
games, the Arkham games will not be what they was without him.
No, hell no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. And what's amazing is that yes, the series was very dark, but it was dark by Saturday morning TV show standards. But then it branched off into some movies with the same animation style and the same group of people making it that were actually fucking dark. And the fact that he was able to so seamlessly go from kids Saturday morning TV show to really fucked up dark animated movies to games that shit, even his little run in the CW verse made me smile. You know, it's like, good, give the man his due.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that for him, giving his flowers, actually make him an on-screen Batman.
Yeah, it was cool as hell. So he's literally hit the Holy
He
Trinity.
got done dirty the way he got killed, but
hey. I'm devastated that he's gone. And so young. Bro, 66 is too young to have taken him.
No age at all.
Made me reflect, actually. It's like, shit, man, 35. Like, I'm more than halfway there. It just made me go, woof, eat your veggies.
Yeah. Life is short.
Life really is short, man. Who's in the house with us?
Kevin Conroy. At least he leaves a legacy that, like, we can all enjoy.
Oh, bro, he's immortal. At this point, he's immortal. I've already ordered off Amazon the 4K Ultra HD versions of the entire animated series.
Wow,
I've got in my basket. It's very expensive. Every Kevin Conroy movie on Blu-ray. Very expensive. It's like 300 quid. So I was like, maybe that's a Christmas present to myself. That's not a day order. But yeah, so who is in the house? We've got RJ Skarenki. Rob Barber is here. Hello, Rob. Danny Pudi, Batman in Community. Billy Mount is here. Hello there. In the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mixed Memorabilia is here. Hello, amigo. Hey, everyone. Billy Mount is here. This is such a good intro. Wasn't it just, Billy? And Mixed Memorabilia says, so is this really an unexpected show or the stealth of Batman? Read into that what you will. No, look, AJ's moving into a new house, and yeah, I'm firing shots at him for not having a table just because that was the lame ass reason he gave me. But he's not fully set up. He doesn't have lights. He doesn't have his kit. He's not ready to stream. So I'd like everyone, please, in the chat, say thank you to Big Tongue, because it was literally last minute. I got a text from AJ today at 11 a.m. saying it's not going to happen because table. It's not going to happen. And literally within half an hour, I got Big Tone on the phone, and he was like, "Yeah, good to go." And like, this is a made on the day top 10 list, so this is fresh. Hasn't had much time to reminisce and remunerate. So we pulled this out of our asses because my attitude is, you guys have been waiting for the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast to come back for a month, and I couldn't do that to you after just 1 week. Gavin Mann is also here. Good evening, all. Having not really watched any of the animated series that much, or haven't seen the films, I'm sure I'll be in for a treat. Oh, yes, sir, you will. RJ Skarenki, as I said, great intro to the show today. Great farewell to the great Kevin Conroy. Rob Barber says, did the Dudley boys nick AJ's table? LOL. Billy Mount says, I can't believe we lost Kevin Conroy this year. Such a massive heartbreak, bro, wasn't it? Just Mixed Memorabilia. Hello, Big Tone. Great to have you on the show, amigo. Rob Barber says, hey, Big Tone, welcome. And Nico, good to see you, bud. And Rob Barber adds, I reckon our Irina the Nerd knew about Guardians of the Galaxy before the movies. RJ Skarenki, hello, Big Tone. Sounds like an MC name. Yes, Big Tone in the zone. Billy Mount again, Big Tone. Wasn't you one of the original members of the Guardians in the early comics?
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
And his scale is actually real. It's not like something that you take off and throw.
There you go. Jen, our newest film family member, is back. Hi, all. Good to see you. Been back in the UK 6 days. Why am I still jet lagged? I definitely need to see more of these films, as I was a toddler when most of his films were out. Keen to get good recommendations. You're in the right place, Jen, my dear. And goodness, sounds like a true legend was lost. He was. He really was. He really, really was. And RJ Skarenki says, yeah, man, I'm currently playing Arkham Asylum on Xbox. One very entertaining game. Arkham Asylum's great. Wait till you fucking get to Arkham City. Woo!
Amazing. And again, like I said, it won't be half of what it is without Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy is just like someone who's universally loved by the comic community. Yeah. All geeks everywhere. Never had a bad word to say about this guy.
He's the man. I mean, you just have to look at what Mark Hamill's been saying online about him recently over the course of the last few days. He just sounds like one of life's truly, truly, truly good people. Rob Barber says Conroy and Hamill were the dream team. Billy Mount goes on, Nico, Conroy is my favorite Batman, along with Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and Adam West. Big thank you, Big Tone from Rob Barber. And Mixed Memorabilia says, guys, I have the 18 plus film box set, 18th anniversary edition, and the other animated box set. But what's this one you mentioned, Nico? It's just something I came across on Amazon when I was ordering the animated series in Ultra HD. It was like, if you like that, you may like this. It's a big, I'll send you the link on Twitter, bro. I will send you the link on Twitter. But there was a point in the show where we were kind of talking about ranking every Batman movie ever, and Big Tone told me to stay in my lane and slow my roll because that would have been a long old podcast. So we are going to stick to our usual top 10 format. For me personally, I'd like to put a disclaimer out now. I'll maybe need to repeat it later on if there are people who arrive a bit later to the show. I'm not doing any of the Nolan Batmans, and I'm not doing any of the Tim Burton Batmans. Simply because I think it wasn't even long ago. It might have been this year that we were actually ranking the Batman movies at the sort of time that the Pattinson Batman movie came out. And those Batman movies heavily, heavily featured in our list. So for regular viewers who have heard me wax lyrical about the Burton and Nolan Batmans, I will bring you new stuff today. Big Tone, who is not on that podcast, may be bringing some of that stuff. We shall see. But yeah, he wasn't on that previous episode. So
actually, fun fact, I was on that podcast. Do you remember?
Were you actually?
Yeah, I was.
Fuck, bro, I blanked on that. My bad. I'm so sorry.
I just looked at my list and realized that I messed up like real big because I didn't include one movie that I really should have. Yeah,
yes, you really should have.
My favorite movies, but I guess that will have to be my most honorable of honorables mentions.
Yep. Honestly, I was shocked when you didn't bring that to the party. I was like, okay, I guess you didn't like it.
You should have said.
No, it's your list, big. Your list, big bro. I'm not gonna have any influence on you. But yeah, I think on that note, what I'd like to do is let's start off with some words from Conroy, and then we'll actually get into, and you'll hear them intermittently throughout the show. But I think now would be a good time to start with what makes Batman iconic.
Well, I had no idea. You know, I'm an actor. I studied at Juilliard. I did Broadway, off-Broadway, did a lot of classics, Shakespeare. And I had no way of knowing this is where my career was going to go. It was an audition. I auditioned for a job. And that was 27 years ago. And it led to this character that just went on and on and on. So it was just a really, really lucky break. But one that I studied hard for and had worked hard for. I think the reason he's so iconic is because of all the superheroes, he's the only one who has no superpowers at all. He's just an ordinary person. But what he has is a super amount of passion and a super sense of right and wrong, morality. And so he's just an average guy with $1 billion who transforms himself into this champion of pure good. There's nothing in it for him. He gets nothing out of this except the knowledge that he's healing the world. And it's all because of what happened to him as a child, avenging what happened to the murder of his parents and his being left as an orphan. And he spends his life, instead of allowing life, life, I often say life throws nothing but curveballs. No matter what you do to prepare for life, it's going to throw a curveball. You're going to constantly be switching from this to that. And if you let it, it can make you bitter. It can make you angry. It can make you hostile. Bruce Wayne doesn't allow that to happen. Life throws him this huge curveball as a child, and he takes it and he turns it into something good. And that's why audiences love him so much. People relate to him because everyone has had dark nights of the soul. We all do. People with the most charmed lives have had dark periods. So everyone relates to the darkness that Bruce Wayne goes through. And what they admire about him is his ability to overcome it and to turn it into something good. And I think that makes him the most incredible character for me to play and for audiences to enjoy.
Big shout out to Red Carpet News for that one. Thank you. And wonderfully said by the legend, Kevin Conroy. Although Rob Barber...
Pulling on your heartstrings, that one.
Money and wealth is a superpower, says Rob Barber. And vigilance is Batman's addiction. That's what he has to get out of it. A dopamine hit. Look, so I'm going to have to do this one without AJ. For those of you tuning in for the first time, listening to us on pod, on video on demand, or joining us in the live, thank you so much for joining us. Please be sure to give the video a like. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also leave us a review if you're listening to us on one of the podcast platforms. How does the show work? We get assigned a list, we go our separate ways, and we come back here and deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our film family, our individual top 10 list. As a guest of the show, Big Tone will go first, delivering his bottom 3. I will then deliver my bottom 3. Big Tone will deliver his next 2. I will deliver my next 2. And when we get to our top 5, we will trade one apiece. If at any time, while we are rounding off our individual top 10 lists, one person has a movie in a higher position, that person will say, punt. And we will punt and get to that movie when we get to the higher position. Once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 lists, we will create the movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential, diverse, must-see movies of this genre. Big Tone, you can say this part, which this week is... That's you, Big Tone.
Movies that Batman has appeared in.
There we go. I love it. Cool. So over to your number 10, sir.
Okay, so my number 10 is the Batman movie 1966 edition.
You're going to have to school me here, my friend. I've never seen this.
Oh, really? Oh, come on, but you've not seen the shark?
I've seen the shark clip on YouTube.
Okay. Well, you know what? That mainly is the main reason why this is on the list. Because, man, nothing has brought me as much joy from old time, TV than this clip, with the shark. Because I actually watched the movie. I watched the movie all the way through. I had seen nothing or knew nothing about this famous shark clip. So I got to experience it in real time. And I could not stop laughing for days. I showed it to so many people. I've literally just put it on just to see that moment with the shark. And it's not even just that part. There's just a lot of goofy, cheesy, wacky things in that movie. But fun fact, it was actually one of the first films where they had multiple villains, all team up for the higher end of taking down the hero. So it was a big event because up to that point, even in the series, we've not seen any crossover between the villains. Maybe one teamed up, but not 4. So it's kind of that Batman Sinister 6 going after him.
Right. Who were the 4 villains?
It was the Joker, of course, has to be the Joker. Penguin, Catwoman, Eartha Kitt. Yeah. And who was
Riddler?
the last one? Yes, Riddler.
Riddler? Okay, yeah. He seems like pastiche enough to fit with that big green outfit into the Adam West world. That's why I threw him out there.
No. Funny enough, it was Riddler. Yeah. Of course, Batman whooped them all, but
Of course, naturally.
the thrill ride along the ride, I would suggest if you just want like some campy fun, or if you're just generally interested to know like how Batman was presented pre-70s, pre the Dark Era, like when Batman was for children, I would go and check this movie out.
Well, pre-Kevin Conroy, right?
Yeah, pre-Kevin Conroy.
Pre-Kevin Conroy Batman, it was all piff, paff, boom, bow. Not so good, but
Yeah, and if you're a youngster watching, like this would have been many people's in their mid to late 30s, like plus. This would have been their first experience of Batman.
Right. Jen, if you're watching still, that's you could go back and watch that. Like, we're all too young to see that shit, but I mean, yeah, for the shark. He pulls out the the anti-shark spray. Oh, fuck me.
And then the fact that the shark fell down and exploded as well. The best part about that shark scene was the amount of time he was in the water. He wasn't in the water for a lengthy amount of time for the shark to swim up and bite him. He literally dipped in the water and came out with the shark on him. And then he said hitting the shark, and you can tell that this is a cellophane model.
Oh, very good. You gotta love the 60s,
classic.
don't you?
Absolutely classic.
RJ Skarenki says, as a massive fan of Batman, I'm so heartbroken we have lost the voiceover legend. Rob Barber follows that up with going, can you imagine the weight on the shoulders of the next voiceover Batman? Kevin's legacy transcends across mediums. It's going to be horrible, whoever has to fill his boots. It's going to be vicious.
No, there'll never be another Conroy. Again, it will just be multiple different people like it has been. Because there has been different voice actors in more recent movies. And, some of them have done a really good job. But I don't think there'll ever be a Conroy again.
No, not for that length of time. What was it, 21 years he did the character? Insanity.
27, he said.
27, there you go. Billy Mount, question for you, Big Tone. Big Tone, have you watched the 90s Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Incredible Hulk animated series?
Yeah, I'll be like 100% honest. That was my introduction to those characters. Like Spider-Man, which one was the first one? X-Men, then Spider-Man. And then like Spider-Man had a very good episode where he crossed over with Iron Man. Yeah. And that again led me down the whole rabbit hole of Iron Man. And then they started showing the series in syndication, and it had the most epic, manliest opening I've ever seen in a cartoon. I am Iron Man. No, but yeah. I wish like they just put more of a spotlight on that pre-MCU, like because again that had a lot of crossover and a lot of characters. Like more shows. Silver Surfer was in there, Fantastic Four. Yeah,
bro,
like
those
all of them
cartoons were like 100%. Those cartoons were like a treasure trove of comic book cameos. Like shit, Deadpool was in the X-Men. It was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. And like, of course, you had the famous episodes with Daredevil, and like my first exposure to Blade was definitely from
Blade, the neogenic nightmare in Blade. Yeah.
Oh, and Morpheus, before they ruined him with his own solo film, was of course in Spider-Man.
Yep, Morbius was indeed in Spider-Man. Riri Thomas is here. Hello to you both. Glad to be here. And great symbol with this top 10 that people may be gone but never forgotten. Yes. RJ Skarenki follows up saying, don't forget Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Kevin Conroy deserved an Oscar for that movie, and the movie should have gotten more attention. Stay tuned. Please do stay tuned. AJ is here. R.I.P. Kevin Conroy, you lazy table motherfucker. I love you, bro. He goes on to say he will be truly missed. The piece of my childhood left when I heard that news. I knew this one would hurt you, man. I really, really, really knew this one would hurt you. It hurt all of us, but AJ's a massive Batman fan. But yeah, It's Jen says, I'm a child at heart.
Aren't we all, Jen? Aren't we all?
And Rob Barber says, are we getting a Batman x Sharknado crossover? It must happen.
Hey,
And
why
now
not?
I've heard it. It must happen.
Have Batman take them all out.
Oh, mate. All the sharks. What is your number 9, Big Tone?
My number 9 is, drum roll, Batman versus Superman, the extended cut.
It's funny you say that because that is also my number 9.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go or shall I go?
You can go. You're the guest. Have at it.
Okay. So I've got like put a dead stop to anybody who's going to be like, oh, that wasn't a good film. Why is it on the list? Look, we know it had its problems. We know like it became a meme with the whole Martha like silliness and all that. Yeah. And there's a lot of cringy parts to it. But no Batman fan, not one of you can sit there and tell me after you've seen that warehouse scene that this doesn't deserve to be on a list like of greatest things Batman has been in. Yes, a lot of people don't like Black Batfleck. I do personally, but a lot of people don't. Yeah. A lot of people could take him and leave it, take him or leave him. But man, his portrayal as Bruce Wayne, I thought was stellar. That opening scene where he is on the ground running through like Metropolis, while Superman and Zod are just ripping shit up in it. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Yes. Amazing.
And I just feel Batman had a nice swag all through the film up until that silly moment, but we'll talk about that. But as far as Batman goes, man, I feel that was a decent portrayal of him, and
I agree.
It was probably the most badass Batman scene in any film.
I would disagree with that. My number 1 has that scene, but it's a close second. It's a very, very close second. It's something I've said to AJ for the longest time whenever we've either been on topic discussing Batman or gone on a tangent. That movie showed Batman moving the way that we have never, ever seen in a movie before. I mean, that warehouse scene was literally like out of Arkham Asylum. It was like square, 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 counter with triangle. I'm like, well, yes, I'm loving everything about this. This is fucking fantastic. But, the way he entered, jumping from the bat plane with the bat symbol breaking through the window, I was like, yeah, give me some of that all day long. But then you go to like the Doomsday fight. Say what you will about, how Doomsday becomes Doomsday. Yes, stupid, yada, yada. But there's a scene in that Doomsday fight where he shoots him with his laser eyes and Batman uses his grappling hook and you actually see him, the full momentum taking him away. Normally, up until that point in cinema, all you've seen is just you see the grappling hook being shot and then the camera sort of follows him and he comes towards the camera, or you see him going away from the camera, right? You've never seen that sideways movement on camera from Batman before. Like, he moved like Batman should move, which sounds like a weird thing to say, but it had never been given to us. I like the fact that they showed a darkness to him, like jokes on you, Batman, with the Robin costume. I liked the anger he had when he was looking at that costume. I loved his little tete-a-tete with him and Clark Kent when he was taking, shots at Clark Kent for writing puff pieces. Equally, bro, the scene where they first meet as Batman and Superman, tell me, do you believe
epic,
it's like,
epic.
I mean, for all the shit, completely. For all the shit in that movie, and there is a lot of it, let's not be under any illusion, there's a lot of good.
Lex.
I'm so torn about Lex. I know that we're never going to see a proper follow-up to it. I think there was more to meet the eye with that character. Like when he said, don't call me that, Lex was my father. I genuinely don't think that was Lex Luthor.
I would have loved it if they'd gone down that path. We've seen that.
That's
different,
what I think they were doing.
Older, wiser Lex. Yeah. I mean, as for what he did, I did think, Jesse, he did a good job with what he was given. But what he was given ultimately came off the rails towards the end. It was all right at the first. It was all right with Peach Tea. That was hilarious. But then at the end, his motivations for doing stuff.
Right. His motivations for doing stuff and the plan that ultimately brought him and Superman together were a bit like, Ugh, this feels forced.
So
This
many
feels...
stuff that Superman could have done rather than
Yeah.
fight Batman. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. One thing I
Yeah.
will give the film, though, that I feel doesn't get enough of a shine, is that Batman theme in that particular film. I love that theme. That is
Yes.
like, that's Batman. That's dread. It's just
Yeah.
creeping in as well. Like, you
Mhm.
know, Batman is actually something to be afraid of. That's how
Yes.
that music makes me feel. It's a great piece.
It really was the Arkham games come to life, and that's what I credit Batman in that movie for. The thing I hated, though, was the cowl and the bat logo.
I didn't like it. But you see,
I didn't
that
like it.
was 1966 Batman.
Yeah.
But actually,
That
it was more like
big
Batman.
fat bat logo.
It was more the Dark Knight Returns, but it was sort
Mm.
of crust with that.
Yeah. It's what's mixed memorabilia had to say. I stand by till this day. Batman beats Superman, Spider-Man, but versus Predator would be a tough one. I'm sure there's some sort of
He's already fought and beat him twice.
Predator.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Where can one find that, Big Tone?
Actually, like I feel it's more than that. Actually, I know he's beaten twice by himself, but then he's beat him and Alien with Superman. There's some bad crossovers.
Jesus. Were those comic books, fan movies? Where
comic books, graphic novels.
Mixed memorabilia. Link up Big Tone. He'll tell you where to go. Billy Mount says Clancy Brown is the best Lex Luthor. And Rob Barber says, my dislike of Zuckerberg has been projected onto Eisenberg because of the social network. In the words of Venom, fuck this guy. And Billy Mount says, Nico, guess who has the Predator comic right now? Marvel.
Wow, irony.
RJ Skirenki says, to me, The Dark Knight Rises is 3 hours of Batman being a pussy and a joke.
Well, say how you really feel.
Mixed memorabilia says legendary knowledge by Big Tone. There you go, man. Bring the man in. He knows what he's doing. Big Tone, your number 8, please, sir.
My number 8 is an amalgamation, a bit of a cheat. But all of the Lego Batman films, all the films that basically Batman has appeared in, but predominantly the Lego Batman movie. Yeah.
Some of the best opening 10 minutes of a movie ever.
Look, the song.
Because I'm Batman. It's so good.
When he goes, there's a lot of superheroes, but I'm the greatest of them all. I love narcissist Batman. It's one of the best characters, like one of the best depictions of him ever.
So much.
I love how they mock the relationship between Batman and the Joker. Yeah, because really, it is a relationship. And the tears from Joker when he's saying,
so good.
You're not my best villain.
Oh God. Oh, it's so good. There are the third act of that movie completely fell off a cliff for me, sadly. But the first 2 acts, I was a big fan.
Stuff. No, you know what? I liked the whole dynamic of this film, and like you know, the whole thing with Batman finding his family. Because, you know, it's even through all the funniness and everything, it had an element of sadness to it when Batman's alone in his cave, he's watching movies by himself.
I'm home.
Yeah. He's eating in, his little, his water
microwave meal.
Yeah, just because he can. And then he just pulls out the guitar, like, for no reason other than, again, because he can. Like, it showed that he was lugging. And then, of course, he meets Robin, and like you know, Robin gets buoyed quite a bit in that film. But hey, at least he did a Dr. Indian.
That part where Robin takes off his pants and just says, "Look, Speedos," and it's like, yes, basically that's how you used to be portrayed.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And when they threw the party, I didn't invite Batman.
That killed me.
That was so
fucking
funny.
Superman's Fortress of Solitude, that absolutely killed me. But bro, even in the original Lego movie, when like you find out that what's her face's boyfriend is Batman,
dating Batman, come on, that made that film. That really did make that film.
It
And
really
there's
did.
a reason why, Lego Batman got his own movie because he's the best character in that film.
He was. He really was. He was only in it for 10 minutes, but he was so good. And when he was trying to hit that, so he's going, ha, 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 first time. So good. Oh, I liked it. I liked it a lot. What have we got? Tucky is in the house. Hello, Tucky. The Dark Knight Rises is criminally underrated, says Tucky. Billy Mount says Warner Bros. Films rights to Universal. So good luck on a sequel to Lego Batman. Lost the rights, I mean. Warner Brothers lost the rights to Lego. Ha! That's dumb. They'll get it back. There's a lot of interesting things happening in Warner Brothers at the moment. I've said this on the last few weeks. Watch this space. That is, Lego Batman's a very good shout, mate. It was like honorable for me. Didn't quite get in. So that was your bottom three, yes?
Mm-hmm.
All right. My number 10, we were talking about movies that are criminally underrated. I think this gets a lot of unfair stick, so I'm going to go with it. Batman, The Killing Joke. I really like this film. Now, the comic is not big, and the comic couldn't be turned easily into a movie, so they added a load of backstory into it to essentially extend it from what would have been a 40-minute movie to an hour-and-a-half movie. And the fanboys and fangirls lost their minds. And I was like, what is wrong with this? I don't see the problem. People were like, that shit with Batgirl was stupid. I'm like, why? Because if you look at it as a movie, right? If you start with where The Killing Joke starts, which is Joker comes in to Barbara Gordon's place, shoots her in the spine, and rapes her. You can't start a movie like that. Because it's got no context. I'm not saying you can't start with some dark shit. You can. But look, most diehards know who Barbara Gordon is. Most passives know who Barbara Gordon is. Your average movie fan doesn't necessarily know who Barbara Gordon is. And more to the point, even if they do, Barbara Gordon in the animated world has never been given enough substance. So for her to have her own isolated 45 minutes where they actually explore who she is as a character, how she's living in Batman's shadows while being incredibly sexually attracted to him and actually porking the bat, to then only in the next scene be shot and raped, that leads into The Killing Joke. I fucking loved it. I thought it was really an inspired and brave choice. I'm alone in this, clearly, because from what I've seen online everywhere, people don't like this movie. What are your thoughts on it, Big Tone?
Honestly, I haven't seen the adaptation, but I've heard everything about it. I've heard the criticism and the beef with it, and I would find myself leaning more towards you. Yeah, really. That it's just backstory. You're building up to the ultimate, climax of what it's going to be. Yeah, I'm surprised that they actually went the full length. And had him sexually assault her as well. I thought they would have just done the shot and that's it. Yeah, but no, they went the full hug. So
no, it was pretty rough. They showed Joker shooting her, undoing her blouse. I mean, it went the whole 9 yards. I was like, oh shit, this is not a kid's film. This is absolutely not a kid's film. On that note, I actually think Kevin Conroy has something he'd like to say about this film. Let me just find the clip.
Killing Joke, and I spoke to you about that in San Diego, and you said at the time that you were really conflicted about doing that role because it was such a dark performance of Batman, and you actually weren't you were okay with doing the part, but you weren't happy with kind of the way that the tone had taken. Have you changed your thoughts on how that performance?
Well, it wasn't that I wasn't happy with it. It's just that I was aware of how controversial it was. Yeah. I appreciated that a lot of people were disturbed. I wasn't, but I just appreciated the fact that people were. Batman has a very broad audience. It was originally, the first Batman animated series was on prime time on Fox. It was never designed to be a kid's show, but they knew that they were going to have a kid's audience too. So they had to they had to keep it a very adult show, which it obviously is, with very adult storylines and sophisticated artwork and sophisticated music and storylines, but they could never show a child in danger. You know, they had to go by certain standards and practices in the States that you have to respect if you know you're going to have audiences of under 12. You just have to do it. So The Killing Joke, the issue I had was that it was a great mature story for Batman Joker, but I know that a lot of the audience is still under 12. And that's rough. That's a rough story for people that young. And I had a lot of friends who said, well, I love that movie you did, but I'm not going to let my kid see it for 10 years, you know. I have it in a box, and he'll see it when he's older. But no, I didn't have problems with the story. I understood people who did.
Yeah. So as I said, they didn't pull punches in the animated Big Tone. It was really quite like, okay, one of the darker Batman movies. I see what we're doing here.
Can we just take a moment though to acknowledge that voice?
Oh, it's so good, isn't it? It's so fucking good. The power, the thunder in that voice, bro. Oh, Republic Productions has joined us. Batman Forever is the worst one. Fact. Oh, first off, Big Tone's here.
Batman and Robin.
I was about to say, Big Tone's about to say it's an opinion, not a fact. He's the man of that. I'm joking, bro. And one man's shit is another man's treasure, because Batman Forever is one of AJ's favorite. But you can't honestly, Republic Productions, be telling me that you prefer Batman and Robin to Batman Forever. Surely not.
We live in a world, bro. That is his opinion.
That is his opinion. And if it is, fair play.
He's entitled to it as well.
Billy Mount says, here we go. Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are the only good things about this movie. I told you, there's no love. Billy Mount says, The Killing Joke should have been a short film, not a feature film with 40 minutes of backstory. You needed the backstory for the power of The Killing Joke to be a thing. Again, just my opinion.
I mean, one thing I will say in that defense is that I don't think he did, to be honest. Like, I would accept it, and I personally would actually lean towards, I feel it's a good idea, but I can see why, like, people wouldn't like it, because especially hardcore comic fans, because we all know what The Killing Joke is. Yeah. And, like, we all know what was coming. So they really didn't need all of that part to get to the point. But I guess, like, for someone like me who likes a bit of backstory and context, I wouldn't mind it. I say wouldn't, because I would actually see it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just backstory and context to fill in, you know, a personal preference. It's like, as a movie, you need to give a powerful moment context. Otherwise, it's not powerful, and it's my favorite sentence: visual noise.
No, but like, what there was just saying, again, did it have to be a movie? Could it have been, you know, a special, an OVA, you know, or like, cut it down to a 40, an hour max, you know, just under an hour.
All is possible. I like the end result, and I get why people don't. RJ Skarenki says, The Killing Joke was a very risque movie, but I think they went just about as far as they can go for R-rated movie, but rape would have been too much for me. I mean, it's there. The rape's there. You just don't, they don't show vaginal penetration, but it's pretty much it.
No, but you know what? The fact that they actually alluded to it, would be enough to sort of turn people off.
Bro, it's heavy. It's really heavy. Mixed Memorabilia says, Batman v Ninja Turtles film. Is there really such film? I know that one. Yes, there is.
Yes, it is. And it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Billy Mount says, I'm sorry I missed it. What was the punt? No punts yet, my friend. We're at Big Tone's 1098, and we're at my 10. And my 9 was the same as yours, Big Tone, which was the extended edition of Dawn of Justice. My 8. Oh, get ready for people to hate me here, Big Tone. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? People are going to lose their mind when I bring this up. I fucking love this movie. I watched this again today as the one movie I was going to watch in the build up to do this show. I put it on, faults and all, still fucking love it. Suicide Squad.
No, I've got no problem with Suicide Squad.
People hate it. People fucking hate it. They're like, it's the worst DC movie. I'm like, absolutely not.
The only thing they dropped the ball on was Enchantress.
And even that, there were parts of Enchantress that I liked. I think that Cara Delevingne was miscast, but there were parts they did with Enchantress, like all of this body gyrating stuff I could do without. But for example, when she summons her at that scene in the table where the hands flip over, I was like, that's fucking brilliant. What about Jared Leto's Joker? Loved it. I fucking loved it. I have no issue with Jared Leto. I don't know why the world has all of a sudden gotten on this hype train of hating Jared Leto.
I have no issue with him as the Joker. I have an issue with how he was utilized. Like, for instance, we talk about Suicide Squad, and I don't know if this movie is on your list, but there was a much, much more better interpretation of Suicide Squad from the animated
Punt.
side of things.
Punt that noise, my friend. Punt that noise, my friend. But yeah, the yes, everything you've just said true. We'll get to it. But this, for what it was, I really enjoyed. Now, the Joker was underutilized, but what we saw of Leto, I fucking loved it. There were touches. Fine. I mean, for me, it was so much more than fine. I really, really loved this film. Like that scene where it's him and Harley, and he's like, what would you die for me? And he's like, no, that's too easy. Would you live for me? And she runs off and jumps in that vat of acid. And, he's walking away going, fuck this bitch. But then he has that conflict of interest, doesn't he? Where he's like, fuck, I actually do quite like her. And he jumps in to save her. And then when their makeup's melting off, it forms a heart. I'm like, this is cocaine bubblegum in its best possible form. I'm loving everything about this. I thought Will Smith, he who shall not be named now. I loved him as Deadshot. Loved him as Deadshot.
I actually think his storyline is actually one of the best in the film. Like, his little beef with Batman.
Yeah, love it. Love it. I love Batman's appearance in it, just where he smashes Harley's face in. And he's on the purple Lamborghini with the Joker. Again, purple Lamborghini. Yes. Love that. It's just an alternative take on these characters. It's like, how boring would it be every single time to just get darker and darker and darker and darker? Like, it's like, mix it up a bit. It's fun.
That you're right there. They did try. They tried, they tried to do like a movie, but it was like kind of for the MTV generation.
Well, it's so funny you say that, Big Tom, because the group of editors, this is the mistake. I personally didn't mind it. I thought they were onto something here. They just didn't follow through with it. They brought in, to edit the movie, they brought in a music video production company. So that's why it's edited in such a way where it's really like fucking glitzy and in your face, and you've got those really bombastic neon overlays introducing each character. It was a freaking movie. It was an MTV company that essentially made it.
More soundtracks were played than a Twilight film.
Literally, right? Literally. It's great soundtrack in that movie, though. Woo! I mean, look, the only thing I'll say is that the ending really falls off a fucking cliff for me. It's like Amanda Waller sends them in to do this mission, and it's like, what's the mission? It's like, save me. It's like, okay.
I think one missed opportunity they had, and which James Gunn's Suicide Squad did like infinitely better, was show why everyone's on the team. Because again, like, some people didn't really do anything. They were just there. Yeah, just made up numbers. And I would like to say, I wanted to see why Captain Boomerang was Flash's adversary. I didn't really see him do anything that you thought, or have his moment in the film that you thought, that's actually sick. Yeah. And I feel they could have done more of that. Like the fire guy, I forgot what's his name again?
Fuck.
He got his moment. He actually it's funny enough, he actually had the best story arc in terms of what happened in his past and his redemption story and everything.
Sorry, mate. 1 second. What's up? Right in the middle. I can't talk. Can we? Apparently, Russian missiles have just hit Poland.
Yeah. What do you call it? I seen it in the news while I was waiting for you.
I had no idea.
I just killed 2 people.
Great.
But they're still trying to confirm. They're still trying to confirm more the details. So nobody. Let's not start calling for World War III yet. Let's just see what happens.
Let's see. Well, yeah, my wife's Polish, so that obviously hits home quite hard. Yeah, I didn't know that. Fuck. Back on track. Get my head together on this. Yeah, look, here we go. Here's the hate for the. Here we go, Nico. Thumbs down. There's my hate for the Suicide Squad. Knew it was coming. Suicide Squad. It keeps coming. I'm saying, have you heard about people wanting the Ayer cut? I don't believe it exists. I think people have just there sniffing that good Snyder cut powder. And then Billy Mount says, Nico, you have no problem with Jared Leto's Joker, but you had a problem with him as Morbius. No, I had no problem with him as Morbius. I had a problem with the movie Morbius because it sucks, in my humble opinion.
Jared Leto is not the problem on Morbius. Morbius, the film, is the problem on Morbius.
Exactly. And also, Matt Smith, who is so cool in House of the Dragon. Like one of the coolest characters I've seen for an age. How do you manage to make a man who's capable of being that cool do like a 2022 version of the Spider-Man 3 sexy dance? Because we got that. That happened in the movie. He does a Spider-Man 3 sexy dance. And I'm looking at this going, did you learn nothing from the last 20 years? Don't do this. This is not a good thing.
From when they weren't going to make the film rated R, the whole thing was a mistake anyway.
It's fucked blue blood. I was like, come on.
There's no point. There's literally no point.
It wasn't a point. Billy Mount says, Nico, what did you think of the sequel reboot by James Gunn? I'm on a small island here. I didn't like it as much as the first one. I really didn't.
Very small.
I like John Cena because he's the man. But yeah, I didn't like it anywhere near as much as the first. And Rob Barber says, to be fair, I like Birds of Prey. That's a bad Rob.
Damn.
That's a bad Rob.
That and Wonder Woman 84 is like two of the back-to-back worst films I've ever seen.
Yeah. You can't be throwing shade at me with Suicide Squad and liking that. But you are, of course, allowed your opinion. I don't agree with it, but you're allowed it. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Mixed Memorabilia says, just purchase Batman v Ninja Turtles DVD. Yes, Mixed Memorabilia.
No, do it. That. Go for it, man. Great fun. And
Billy Mount's right.
I wish they would do more stuff like that, this
100%. It's cool as fuck. I'd like to see
Marvel versus Transformers, man.
Oh, bro, release that shit. You know what kills me is when you watch the old Transformers Generation 1 cartoon, it does say have the Marvel logo at the end, Marvel Productions. It's like, just give us the movie, please.
They've done the comics. Yeah. And like they had multiple matchups.
Yeah. The one I would love to see, although I don't think we'll ever get it, is Batman versus Dredd. The comic was one of my favorite ever. Judgment on Gotham. Oh, what a comic that was. Yeah, Judge Dredd, secretly my favorite comic book character. Big Tone, that was my bottom three. What is your number 7, please, sir?
Okay, so I know you're probably going to get ready to punt this, but Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm is your 7. It is my 6, so we can talk.
Okay. Well, damn, we talk about Conroy. We talk about him being like, the greatest Batman voice actor, maybe the greatest Batman altogether. And if you want a masterclass in that, if you want to actually see, why, this is the film for you. Yeah.
It really is.
Like, this film, again, evoked like so much emotion in me as a child. Like, it was very dark, it was serious. We seen Batman in legit peril. Yeah. And the little twist at the end, which I won't spoil for anyone who hasn't seen it. I don't know if you're going to do that, Nico, but like it was a great, excellent, way to just put together, like Cruiser Cassidy on such an excellent film. And like there was a lot of things that we've seen for the first time because they never really touched on Batman's origin until this film. And like they tweaked it a bit as they always do. But again, it's just the voice acting, the little twist, the darkness of the film, the animation, the music, the little nuances that just put this into a perfect little package for a Batman film, and especially someone who was a fan of the Batman animated series of the 90s. It's a must-watch.
What they managed to achieve in 1 hour and 15 minutes still blows my mind. This film follows like a perfect layout of a comic book movie. It's set in present day. Batman is, he is Batman, but he's still not top tier Batman. You know, he hasn't gone full vengeance yet. He's still kind of learning his ways. And to explain why he's at that stage, we have a backstory. And God say heavens and thank you, because for once it's a backstory where we don't see fucking pearls. We actually see the it's so good that they did this, because you see the fallout of the pearls. You see the genuine struggle in him between asking for forgiveness to love again, and that he regrets that he doesn't hurt as much as he did before, and he's asking forgiveness from his parents for that. I mean, it's emo as fuck, but it's the fact that we've got this brilliant back and forth, which is for me A-class movie making. I love when backstory is used in this capacity. I also really admire the fact that they didn't treat their audience like idiots. You know,
Or children.
Or children, like, good point. Or children like idiots. You know, it's like the backstory where they show Andy, Andrea's father, you know, being cornered by the gangsters, and then it's like, okay, so he's going to be the Phantasm, and then literally the next scene, it's like, oh, so your father's Phantasm. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to go further than that, but they didn't draw that shit out. They were like, cool, done, move on. Here's the twist. And it's like, oh, okay.
I was genuinely surprised. They got me.
Yes. It got me too, big time. And of course, Hamill playing the Joker again, man. It's like, just all sorts of goodness. Actually, I think we've got 2 more clips from Conroy, and one of them is about Mask of the Phantasm. So let's roll it.
Have you ever used the voice for personal purposes?
For nefarious purposes?
You know?
Actually, a friend had me call their child to make sure they did their homework because he was falling behind in school. This is Batman. You better get your homework done, or I'm going to come into your bedroom in the middle of the night, and you're not going to like it. She said it terrified him so much.
Which was good.
Which was the point.
What about lines that made it onto the show then?
Yeah, I mean, I am vengeance, I am the night. You know, that's the iconic line. So many of the lines that I loved most are the ones that reveal the soul of Batman, because he's such a dark character, and it's all about the pain that resides in him. So, like, I think the best Batman movie of all of them, the live action and the animated, is Mask of the Phantasm, which was the first animated Batman movie, because it shows the whole arc of the development of the character. And you see what happened to him as a child. And then he has this scene at his parents' grave where he's begging with them to release him from his vow, because he's fallen in love for the first time in his life with Andrea Beaumont. And he didn't think he'd ever be able to love. And he's breaking down. And that scene, I loved that scene, and I loved playing it. And I was really proud of it, because you have to show the humanity of the man. Those moments where it shows his humanity and the struggle within him are the lines that I've had the most fun with.
And that's why he's the man. He said it perfectly.
Perfect summary. And to be honest, for a long time, I would have agreed with it.
There are things that have come along that have topped it, in my opinion. But I mean, I think that but I do think that interview wasn't taken all that long ago. So I think he actually stands by that, because he's got a point. If we're analyzing a movie and evaluating on it on being the full run of how Batman becomes Batman, it's very hard to top Mask of the Phantasm.
But like I said, if someone was to say that it was their piece of art that was the greatest depiction of Batman ever, I wouldn't argue with them. I wouldn't say no, you're wrong. I would say, like, that's a good shout. Like, it could very well be. That's why it's on my list.
It really is. It's fucking sensational. Love everything Rob Barber is saying here. Peter Cullen is the only one I can put in the same stratosphere as the late Kevin Conroy. Roll out. I agree with everything you just said. Mixed Memorabilia says, incredible film, animated all-time greatness. It transcends you into a different world. Art genius. It really is. Mixed Memorabilia says, is Two-Face and or Shadow of the Bat making a surprise appearance? Stay tuned. And RJ Skarenki says, the first time I saw Batman Mask of the Phantasm, I was shocked that the Phantasm... Spoiler, I can't say that. It's a spoiler. I might put that. No spoilers. Right, so that was your 7, Big Tone. What is your 6, please?
I think, well, if you didn't put this one, you probably put this one. The animated rendition of Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1.
Oh, yes, that's a punt, my friend. That is indeed a punt. All right, my number 7 then. It was a toss-up between this or Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox. The reason let me bring it up. People are going to call bullshit cheat on this, but I don't agree. My number 7, Joker. Is it a Batman movie? No, but they haven't all been Batman movies here. Does Batman feature in it? How he's created features. Literally, you see the scene of his parents being killed. And remember what we were just saying a moment ago about with the Suicide Squad, like reimagining shit with the Joker and stuff. What I like that they did here is that they kind of reimagined what led up to the pearls. Arthur shows up at Wayne Manor. There is an implication in this movie, a strong implication, that Joker and Bruce are brothers. Like, this is kind of a big deal. Like, if this is never going to be canon, because what is canon in a comic book? The shit gets rewritten all the freaking time. I don't like hearing the noise of, like, it's just a version of King of Comedy. Bullshit. I don't prescribe to that noise at all. Has it got tones of King of Comedy? Sure. Has it got tones of Taxi Driver? Sure. But as Rob Barber from Big Movie Podcast, one of the best podcasts out there that is around, of course, as he often says on his podcast, there are effectively only 7 stories. So when you're going to make a movie, the story's been told already. We're just repackaging the shit. So I thought Joker was a revelation of a movie. And I like the fact that this character exists without Batman being Batman. Still Bruce having such a marked influence on him. Because if you draw your mind back to it, yes, he was having, as the movie poster was saying, it's like it just takes one bad day to go from good to snap, essentially, right? Which is what one of the things the movie's exploring. But a huge part of his reason for snapping is that sense of abandonment he feels, that he also feels Bruce in his stead. And because he is so intrinsically linked to that jealousy he has for Bruce, irrespective that Bruce hasn't become Batman yet, we know who the fuck that is in Wayne Manor. That's Batman in a few years, yeah? I think this movie should be in the discussion. Big Tone disagrees.
I don't know. I mean, because again, like the subject is like, movies or that Batman has been in. Now, not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, yeah, I'll give you all day. But we don't know if this guy ever becomes Batman. It's heavily hinted, yeah, and like I would assume that's where they go. But
I mean, you see the pearls, yes?
You see the pearls, you see all of that, and obviously Joker is the main villain of Batman.
So,
but like,
who are we kidding here?
I mean, I allow it because again, it's such a good movie, and and like it's like one of the best like DC lore that they've ever explored. Yeah, it might actually be the best like villain film ever. Yeah, I don't think there's a.
Possibly.
Is there anyone better? No, I don't think there is really. Not that's went that deep and had such a good
villain
story.
villain overall, or
No,
just in
like
comics.
comics.
Oh, I think it's very hard to top that.
Yeah, I mean, my
But this
one
is what I'm saying.
like,
Like,
thing that
this,
the one thing I'm really upset about, is that they didn't tie this to the Batman. Yeah, I really wish they had tied these universes.
yeah. Equally, I'm fine with them being in their own universe because
I'm fine with the standalone and stuff. Yeah, and I also like the Joker in the Batman, but yeah.
Oh, bro, Barry Keoghan as the Joker. I was like, fucking give me that all day long, man. That is, oh. Yeah. Give me that all day long. I can't wait for that. But yeah, so I put it low because I knew that there would be like some pushback on it. So that was my 7, and my 6 was Mask of the Phantasm, which we've covered. So Big Tone, over to your number 5, please, sir.
Now my number 5 is fan favorites, probably a lot of people's number ones and everything, but the Keaton movies, Batman and Batman Returns. Like on a nice day, I might even throw Forever in there with them because it's
Whee! Just to piss off Republic Productions.
But like no, like this would have been people's a lot of people's actual exposure to Batman, and not like Batman the campy 1960s one we knew, not even the animated one, but like the actual dark graphic novel Batman. Yeah, that's kind of what Tim Burton was going for. That's kind of what he delivered. Yeah. And at this point, let's face it, any superhero movie made was one thing. This took it to another levels. There's probably like points in history where we can look at movies and be like, this elevated the genre. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would have looked at 1966 Batman as like, a starting point where you could at least make these superhero films watchable, because before you had like in the 40s the Adventures of Captain Marvel, which was like damn. Yeah, but then like you come to the 70s and of course you have like the first Superman film, and obviously classic, all time, again elevated the genre. But then the next film, you cannot tell me that elevated the genre of superhero films is Batman. Like the effects used, the darkness, the seriousness, the fact that they actually got well-renowned actors to do it. Yeah, they did in Superman as well, but like here even more so. Yeah, and they were bringing the A game. Jack Nicholson's Joker is again arguably one of the best Jokers ever. He's got to be in the top 3. Yeah,
but see, I'd argue we've never had a shit Joker.
Yeah, this is it. Like I can't. The
never
list
had a
is
shit
too
Joker.
big, because then I had to now include what's it? Joaquin
Hamill, Joaquin Phoenix, Mark Hamill, fucking Heath Ledger. Like, who was it who played him in the 60s? My man, come on, help me out. Adam West Joker. What was his name?
Yeah, I know. Caesar.
Caesar Romero.
Yeah, there you go.
Caesar Romero. See, even in that capacity, we've never had a shit Joker. Some people are going to scream now, going, Jared Leto. I'll be saying, I disagree.
No, I disagree. He just wasn't given a chance. Yeah, but like here, it's interesting that you mentioned Cesar Romero, because again, Jack Nicholson took that version of the Joker. Yeah, I think he took Mark Hamill's animated version as well, and just made him some psychotic guy. Yeah, and added a flair of realism to it. Had some of the best one-liners of all time. Yeah.
Oh, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Oh.
But he's like, Beauty and the Beast. But of course, if anyone else calls you Beast, I'll rip their throat out.
Yeah.
And then they followed it up, like like this is probably one of the best cases of of sequels being more of the same, but like, excellent. Yeah, they're both like on an excellent level. Yeah, there's only some films that have done this. Ghostbusters to Ghostbusters 2 or films
Oh,
like that.
religious to some people, what you're saying there, my friend. I agree personally, but I know a lot of people won't.
Yeah, no mind them people. But like Batman Returns was great, man. Danny DeVito was inspired casting as the Penguin. Yeah.
Michelle
Even
Pfeiffer
Christopher.
was inspired
Oh,
cast.
oh yeah. Come on. We all know the flips, meow, and the big explosion.
Meow.
That was an iconic,
Oh, good.
iconic moment. And like I'm mortified that that they decided to sort of make the script go a bit too cartoony. That's why Keaton left it. Yeah, because I'd have loved to have seen Keaton play it for like all of the films. Hell, Batman and Robin might have been good if Keaton played it.
God damn it, Ezra Miller. Why couldn't you behave so we got more Keaton as Batman?
He's coming. That's that film. They put too much into that film for it not to come out.
It'll get released. I've got no doubt it'll get released. They're just having to deal with a shitstorm of how do we do this release without being on the receiving end of a bomb.
All they're just waiting for is for it to die down and someone else to be the story, and then they'll release it.
Yeah, but bro, shit keeps coming up. It's like one moment it's like Ezra Miller has stolen some stuff. Then it's Ezra Miller has broken into a friend's house and stolen some more stuff. Then it's Ezra Miller has made friends with Native American tribe and is grooming underage Native American girls on the pretense of being their messiah. And it's like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? Like,
the moral of the story, this stuff's got to stop hiring dickheads in it to do these films.
Like, but I love that. What the it's the fucked up manipulation of going to a Native American tribe and basically putting on a t-shirt and going, Jesus. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And filling their head with shit like, yeah, and only when she, how could I fucks me? I'm not even gonna twist my words here. Only when we fuck will like I become your idol. And it's like, bro, what the fuck?
They really need to do background checks before like they sign people to multi-year deals, man.
I mean, what background check do you do for Native American kiddie grooming? That's
somewhere in his deep dark history, there's gonna be something that makes you second guess him.
Bro, my fucking cousin who's 12 met him not too long ago on one of the lots at Warner Brothers in the UK when they were filming Harry Potter, and I was like,
sure, it was very nice.
That just makes me feel really uncomfortable,
I'm sure he was probably very charming, yeah, but
I'm sure he was. That's part of the game, isn't it? Oh, yeah. So of course we can't say he, we have to say they now. Sorry. Not meaning any offense.
That's
how they identify.
It's
actually a thing. Ezra Miller identifies as they, them now. So
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. No, it's a thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, well, respect what he wants.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah. Personally speaking, I will always lean Batman 1989 over Batman Returns, but I do love them both. Now, in at my number 5 was a movie I not officially, but kind of verbally punted you on, which is Batman Assault on Arkham. Mm-hmm. Now, complete honesty, this is what introduced me to the Suicide Squad. Was this film. Then I went like you with the Spider-Mans. Then I went and did some comic book reading and got really into them. But this film is freaking fantastic. And it picks up at a point where Harley and the Joker are not a thing anymore, which is also interesting in itself, right? And it's R-rated as fuck. Like Harley Quinn biting people's ears off in her therapy room. Was it KG Beast and Killer Shark biting people's heads off and leaving their bodies to decompose in baths? Amanda Waller blowing heads up. Riddler trying to blow up the whole city. And yeah, that opening with the Riddler, do it, playing riddles to the police detectives, and then Batman just standing over him and fixing him, and he's like, "Oh shit." But yeah, top to bottom, I thought the introduction of Task Force X was great. I love how the Suicide Squad were brought together. I loved each of the characters' introductions. I fucking love Captain Boomerang in this movie. Never thought those words would come out of my mouth. Boomerang was awesome in this movie. And of course, Hamill being back as the Joker. And what's so clever about this is because they've turned, despite Harley being in it, they've turned your gaze so far away from him that when he shows up, it's like, oh shit, Harley, is that you? It's like, uh-oh, the clown said it too. Fuck.
Right.
And
Only
it's
way
like
I could summarize this film
Go on.
is that this is Arkham Asylum, the movie, basically. Yeah.
It is.
If you love the games, yeah, you'll love this
Mhm.
film. Like, that's just how it is. And I'm mortified that this was not the Suicide Squad movie. This
Yes.
should have been the movie.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
they had the blueprint. They didn't have to do no madness with Enchantress or anything. Just have this version of Joker. Jared Leto acting as this Joker. Everyone would love him today. Everyone would love him today. Yeah, if he was portrayed in that way. And they
Even
had
in
the
that
same,
voice,
well,
I can hear it. I can hear him. Even in the voice that he picked, even with the makeup that they gave him, I could hear him. Harley, is that you? So you can hear it. It fits
Yeah.
perfectly.
It fits. And but again, like DC with so many things, they get it right with animation and just sort of bonfire it and torch it to the ground when it comes to live action. And I don't know
I
why.
like Suicide Squad.
I really don't know why. Like, like a Suicide Squad, like I said, I didn't mind it that much. But when compared to this film, it makes me sad every single time. That, like, come on, why couldn't you have done that?
Yeah, I agree. Well, both times, to be honest.
Well, like I said, I do feel that they redeemed themselves a bit in the Suicide Squad because of the tone they decided to take was more comedic. Yeah,
Well,
that time.
batshit crazy.
Yeah, batshit crazy. Like, let's dial it up to just 11. Yeah.
Let's dial it up to meth. Like, look, Starro. I mean, who the fuck thought we would ever see Starro on the big screen?
Man, I was like, wow, they actually put Starro the Star Conqueror on there.
Who would have thought, right?
Yeah. Fun fact for those who don't know, but you should do as comic book nerds. The Justice League's first enemy was Starro the Star Conqueror.
There you go. Big, big, big. Big Tom, what's your number 4, please, mate?
My number 4, I'm not sure if we're getting ready to pump this one, but Snyder's version of the Justice League.
Big Tone, that is also my number 4, mon ami.
Ah, brilliant.
Love this film.
Who's going first, me or you?
Go for it. You're the guest. Go first.
Okay, so yeah, we all know like how Justice League turned out, and like it was one of the greatest disappointments of cinema history for me personally going in there, because like through life people have their teams. Yeah, some people's team is the X-Men. Yeah, some people's team is the Fantastic Four. Some people's team is the Avengers. In fact, probably the majority of people's teams now is the Avengers. Yeah,
right.
But mine was always Justice League. Mine was always the Seven. Yeah, and like the prominent 97, because that's when I was reading JLA. Yeah, and like the lineup was Superman, Batman, Aquaman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Martian Manhunter. Yeah. So, like, most of the players were there. Most of the players was there, and I was looking forward to it. I go in there, and what we got was some hashed down, butchered attempt at making a Marvel film out of, a DC film. Yeah. And, like, I don't think it's the worst in the world, but it's just so mediocre. What's MJF say? Mid. It's just so mid.
So mid,
Yeah.
right?
And like that for me is a crime against humanity that a Justice League film, the first Justice League film,
Yep.
was mid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like many of you, I watched it, like hoped and prayed that one day they will release this so-called holy grail of a better version of the film. And it was so funny because it was put as April Fool's Day jokes that like this was gonna happen. Yeah.
Release the
And like,
Snyder
a
Cut.
lot of people was like, this hurts.
Yeah.
So for them to actually do it, man, we all gotta like give ourselves a round of applause for that. Like, because the
Not
faith,
only
the
us,
support,
I
the
think
actors.
Warner Brothers deserve a round of applause for this.
Oh yeah, they do.
Because they listened. No, they listened, bro. You got to give credit where it's due. I think it's huge for a studio to give the fans what they want properly. Because Star Wars tried to give them what they want, and that was a fuck up. That was all wrong. But the fact that they had the humility to go, yeah, we kind of fucked up on that. Yo, Henry, do we release it? And then they do that little press junket with Zack Snyder inviting Henry Cavill on. And he's like, Zack, I think you should release it. And it's like, okay, so we're having fun with this now. We're actually doing this. Because they reshot 80% of that movie. That's what was interesting. Some money went into this fucker. It was really like, and it didn't even get a release. It just went onto TV. He was like,
in that respect, I do respect what they was trying to do. But again, it is companies trying to make money, and it was for the launch of HBO Max. They wanted something as big as possible, and at the time, there was nothing bigger than the Holy Grail of Snacksiders, the Justice.
Smart.
Now,
it was smart.
You know what? Who cares? To be honest, at the end of the day, we got it. Yeah, it's out there. It's in the history books, and it was amazing. Yeah.
Also, newsflash: every movie ever made is there to make money.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why they're here. Yeah. But like, obviously, what I'm just saying is like, before we all like, oh, Warner Brothers, like bow at their feet. I'm happy you released it. You had the plan, and your plan. I hope it works. I hope you did actually get the subscribers that you wanted from it, because you do deserve it here, really. Because again, it was a 4-part epic. I don't know if you watched it all together. Or it's like, did you watch it all together? Because I did.
Oh yeah, on Sky, right here on my big TV. That is one of the reasons I got my big TV. Like, was to watch the Snyder Cut on Sky.
You did watch it in parts.
One hit.
Yeah, and like again, there were so many choices that they made that like I would have thought, damn, if only you had just figured out a formula to put that in the movie, and maybe chop it down like to 2 hours and 30 minutes with like the premise of that they was using in that film, then like we would have had a hit. I mean, I don't see how you can like not have that bit at the end with like Darkseid and Granny Goodness and everything. That's just so epic. That makes us want to see the next film.
Yes, which and
it also makes what do you call it? Batman v Superman, the Flash makes sense, which it doesn't in the current like canon continuity.
It also, I think, reaffirms something that I've believed for a very long time, and I know a lot of people have as well. Zack Snyder, 70% of the time, is a serious auteur. Like, I love his visual storytelling style. Even in his shit movies. Like, what was that terrible one he did with the 4 girls? Sucker Punch. I fucking love Sucker Punch. It's so bad, but I love it. It's batshit. I did not like his Army of the Dead film with Dave Bautista. I thought that was truly dog's fucking shit. But
haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh, don't, mate. Do not hurt yourself. It was painful. But honestly, I'm with you. I thought, and I love the fact that they redid that ending battle too. It's like we got rid of that stupid sepia color. We kept it in a good color palette. We got rid of the whole Russian family story thing, which I thought was a good move.
Yeah, that alone gave it an extra point for me. that by on
Yeah.
its own merit. Because I hate it when films do this breakaway to show the story of some random family. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think the audience cares. Yeah, they're
Kind
gonna
of
get
why I
saved.
don't like Andor.
Whoopie-doo.
Kind of
What
like
is
I
that?
do. Kind of why like I don't. Kind of like why I don't like Andor. It's like I don't care about this character. Couldn't give a shit.
I find that a little bit different. You just don't care about the characters they actually got, but they're actually supposed to be someone in the context of the show. Here, they're literally no one. They're literally
Yeah.
nameless, faceless characters that are there
Russians.
just to set up being saved. Yeah. Now, why would you dedicate that time to that, but take out the parts where Cyborg was helping the family? Yeah, like just walking around with his new internet powers, his internet godhood, and helping people. Yeah, why would you take that out? That's big character building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so again, a lot of the questions of Josh Whedon, like you scratch your head and think this guy did Avengers. Like how? How did? How did that?
Yeah,
And
I
that?
know.
Like
I know. Too many cooks in the kitchen, but I'll also use a English football analogy here. Right player, right league. Joss Whedon plays very, very well with Marvel. Clearly doesn't have the sensibilities to work with the DC characters. As fucking shown. That's not an opinion. That's like, it's there. You can see it. It doesn't work. Like, and that's fine. Look, he does a great Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and Hulk. Very happy with all that. But when he's playing with Flash and Batman, no.
no. I mean,
Doesn't
like
work.
there was some points in there that I thought, oh, that's just interesting that you put it in there. I think they put it in there knowing so like that this version is never gonna really go anywhere. Like for instance, showing Martian Manhunter at the end.
So
They just did that as a nice little Easter egg for us, and like hey, thanks.
yeah. Thank you. Exactly that. Thank you for actually giving us this. It makes me very sad that this story isn't going to go anywhere and we're going to get a hard reset with, at this point, what's going to become known as Batman Flashpoint. But yeah.
But you know what? That's fine. That's fine because again, if as long as like they're using the right players, like I said, I'm elated that my boy is back. Yeah, Henry Cavill as Superman. Now, if you want to start again, just start with Superman. That I don't know what you're gonna call it, but you can call it Superman, man. Like at this time,
call it Man of Steel too.
I think they're actually erasing all of that in Flashpoint. I think they're erasing the DCEU. But then again, maybe not because again, like Black Adam's part that's really popular. So yeah.
David, I've said this the last 2 weeks on the show. Y'all listen to me. David Zaslav, the new head of DC and Warner Brothers, is doing wonders. He's hired Alan Horn, who is Kevin Feige's boss. He's hired James Gunn, who is Kevin Feige's number 2. He has rehired Henry Cavill. The man is doing smart moves. Like, it's very easy to cut shit like he's been doing with, Batgirl, which I'm very happy he cut, to be honest.
You know what? I think like they really should have just put that on HBO Max, man. That you made the film.
Maybe yes. Release the Batgirl cut. Wait for that to happen.
But you know what? They just knew that it was worse than Birds of Prey somehow. That's why.
Billy Mount, I see the questions. Billy Mount, I've seen your questions. Prequel spin-off film Army of Thieves, I have not seen, but Army of Darkness, Army of the Dead, sorry, I had no time for. And Billy Mount asking, isn't Helen Mirren playing Granny Goodness? Until that I see a set photo with her as Granny Goodness, I don't even believe Justice League 2 is happening.
It will happen one day. I mean, but after they got their ducks in a row,
we shall see.
One thing I hope, and I just want to throw this out there. Again, with the success of Black Adam, I'm hoping that they are building up to doing DC's version, which is a good comic book read for all of you out there, of World War Hulk, which theirs is called World War 3. Yeah, and basically it's similar. Yeah, Black Adam goes on a madness, and while the top 3 heroes are not on the planet, so Wonder Woman's not there, Batman's not there, Superman's not there. and he goes on a madness and he fights everyone. It's literally the whole superhero community versus Black
So
Adam.
Shazam beats him, right?
At the very end, like Martian Manhunter, like they had their fight, but it's Shazam that makes him stop. I wouldn't say beats him; he makes him stop. Yeah, and like again, like I said, if you would that into a film, come on, man, you're doing the business.
Bro, we're living in a world where we're getting Secret Wars at this point. All cards for never going to happen are off the table.
That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, there's never say never. I remember the days when people would swear. Even you, Nico, would swear like, "Oh, we'll never see Fox. Like, we'll never see X-Men in Marvel." And like, I was also like,
bro, I didn't believe it. I've never been happier to be wrong. I've never been happier to be wrong. I just could not see it because those studios hate each other. Like, it's documented. It's not like, oh, you know, we've got a working relationship like Marvel and Sony do. No. The beef with Disney and Fox was deep, bro. Like, Fox wanted to sell to Universal, and then Disney did a Godfather and made them an offer they couldn't refuse. Like,
and I'm so glad they did. They made, like, you know, a lot of people happy.
Well, let's see what they do. Like, I'll say this: Disney have Spider-Man. They're still to yet deliver the best Spider-Man movie. Sony have still made the best Spider-Man movies.
That really is subjective.
Spider-Man 2 and Into the Spider-Verse. Are we really going to disagree on that?
I already told you. I'm like maybe a massive mark for this. Yeah, and
Go on.
I will wear that gladly. But I'm still like saying No Way Home was my film, man. I love that film.
It's a great film. It's stupid and the plot doesn't make sense, but it's a load of fun.
Yeah, and like, to be honest, I will acknowledge though that you can't get the greatness of that film without the Raimi trilogy. Well, the first two films.
At least Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2 stories made sense. The plot armor going on in No Way Home upon rewatch, I was like, oh dearie me, fuck me. Wow, we're not even trying at this point.
That is a symptom of like modern films and modern Hollywood. Like, they're just lazy. You know, we just want to get to
super lazy.
But we're not actually thinking. They really just need to hire geeks. And geeks will iron that shit out for you, man.
Well, they just need to hire good storytellers who are also geeks, because how someone didn't see in that script, it's like, you can't tell me they're running away from Spider-Man at the beginning and now they're chasing him. It's like, because of the box. Yes, the box that they never wanted. Yes, that box. What the fuck are you doing to me here?
No, there's 100 things worse than that, and that all of them surround Stephen Strange. Yeah, and like the stuff that happens in this movie even ruins his own movie. Like, because why the hell wouldn't you do the forget spell on Wanda? Yeah, like, you had 24 hours. Instead, you got like all these guys together to just get killed when you could have done the forget spell. Let's make Wanda forget she ever had children. Let's hook her up on Tinder. Hook her up on Tinder while we're on it.
Right. With Quicksilver. Ooh. let's get nasty up in here. Big Tom, what was your number 3, brother?
My number 3, yes. This one, I really do feel that people need to go out and see this one, because they don't know about it. I don't hear any love for it. But this is Justice League: The Apocalypse War.
So, I am one of those people who knows nothing about it, my friend. Tell me why I need to care.
Again, like, I've always said this. I've said this 100 times in the group. One of the things that hurts the most about the way the DC EU turned out is, at the same time as releasing these mediocre films, they were releasing a set of excellent interconnected animation films, all based on the New 52 comics. Yeah, it started with the Flashpoint. It started with the Flashpoint paradox. Yeah, and then it went all the way through for 20 films, all connected. Yeah, and even with adaptations in it, like they had the death of and Return of Superman in it. Yeah, all of them were connected, and the final film is Justice League: Apocalypse War. Now, I just think to myself, imagine a world where this was like the Justice League, the third Justice League film. Remember that feeling in Infinity War, like when the credits rolled and like everyone, I looked around, I see everyone's faces. It was shocked, they were somber because the Avengers lost. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Avengers got dusted. Yeah, now dial that up to like times 20. Yeah, and we
Oh
got
yeah.
Justice League, Apocalypse War. Yeah, not only do the Justice League get messed up, they get brutalized. And we see it. Yeah. We see characters caught and ripped in half. We see like beloved people that you built up all the way through these shows, like the Teen Titans, in it. You got Starfire, like they made her out to be like a nice pretty princess. We see her get ripped in half. Like we see people
Oh.
lose limbs. We see people get bludgeoned to death. Like, and again, Batman himself has one of the best arcs in this film because of his mind. He's kept alive. Yeah. And he gets to sit in the Morbius chair. Yeah. And like that alone and the suit that they use is very Batman Beyond inspired as well.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
love that.
So yeah, it's just an excellent watch. It's very dark. And even the ending is not necessarily a happy ending. it's
Villain in
quite
it is
dark.
who?
It's Dark Side.
It's Darkseid. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is more of a Constantine-based story,
Mhm.
but like again, it involves every single character that have been in those New 52 movies. Yeah, and it actually like all wraps up the same way as it started. Again, like we've mentioned in Flashpoint and stuff like around that, but we see a lot of like finality to characters. Some of them are not happy ending. Yeah. But like they squeeze so much in there. They squeeze Suicide Squad in. Yeah, the remnants of them. Like Earth gets messed up. And I just
Okay.
wish that we lived in a world where this was live action.
I think I may need to watch this tonight.
Yeah, you should watch it. But I would say though, should you watch it like straight off the bat, or should you watch the movies so you get the emotional
Or like
build up?
all of them, like Throne of Atlantis, Flashpoint Paradox, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get you get connected to some of these people so we can see what happens to them.
Right. Sounds like I need to go and watch DC's animated universe because I've watched some of them. Some of them I like. Some of them I'm like, this is dog shit. It's
They
hit
are
and
mixed
miss.
bag.
They are a mixed
They are
bag.
mixed
Throne of
bag.
Atlantis I thought was fucking great.
Yeah, that was great. Justice League War is actually what I feel Justice League the movie should have been. But like,
Yeah, we got the Schneider cut. We're good.
Yeah, well, are we? Let's wait to see what they do in the future.
James Gunn, Zaslav, and Alan Horn, man. The future's looking a lot brighter for DC than it is for Marvel at the moment. I know it's crazy to say that, but it is. It really is. All right, my number 3. The one that, beyond all understanding, you left off. The Batman.
I just forgot. I love this film.
How did you forget this fucking film? Oh my God, this film is good. Woo! It is one of my favorite films of the year, hands down. It's not my top film of the year, but it is up there, bro. Oh my God. Darkest live action Batman ever. Jesus, they went gritty on this. I loved everything about this. The only thing that I potentially would have taken out, and I can still tolerate it because she was fantastic in it, the whole Catwoman and Salvatore stuff, you literally could have taken out the movie and the movie doesn't change.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but the whole point of that was like to sort of base it on the Long Halloween. Yeah. And for the most part, I thought that was a nice adaptation. Like obviously they changed, some elements of the story. But yeah, like Robert Pattinson has made me want to see him as Batman for a number of years.
Yes.
And like I don't want to see him as part of any Justice League or anything like that. I want him just to do some of the darker novels. Like I really feel a great one for them to touch next, especially with how that film ended would be No Man's Land. Yeah,
I haven't read that one.
Yeah, well, like go on the excellent YouTube channel, Comic Books Explained or Comic Historian. I think that both of them have uploaded like basically a 3-hour like audio comic, basically,
Nice.
where they just narrate the whole of No Man's Land. Fun fact, I was actually watching that yesterday because I own the graphic novel, but it was just good to hear it narrated to me.
No Man's Land. Okay, I'll check that one out. I mean, bro, if we're talking follow-ups, I'm going to say something that I think you'll agree with this, but a lot of people may go, huh? Let me explain. I really, in the scope of the world that Matt Reeves has created, in this dark, kind of grounded world where it's almost a bit David Fincher-esque, you know, we've kind of got a Seven vibe going on and a Zodiac vibe going on. It's nasty and dark. I would fucking love to see a Mr. Freeze in this world.
Oh yeah, it's going to be some sick business, but
Because
hey, bring them all. I mean, personally, I'm hoping that we see some guys that we haven't seen before. Let's see some Ventriloquist.
Clayface.
I don't know how they will do a real Clayface.
It's so hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so hard. But if you think about it, you know, traumatized actor who's made his life a tragedy after an accident perfectly fits with the world we're living in.
Yeah, I suppose you could do it where his face is just messed up.
Yeah. You don't need to do the whole crazy sci-fi.
There's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff like we can do Court of Owls. Yeah, we can go back into Digo Shadows. Like there's a lot of things.
Too recent. I've had it too recently. I want Mr. Freeze again, and I want him to be done properly. It breaks, as much as I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, it breaks my heart that the only version of Mr. Freeze your average person knows is "You're not sending me to the cooler. Get some ice. The Iceman cometh. You're not sending me to the cooler." It's like, come on, man.
Well,
okay,
but again,
chill.
I would like personally. I want them to finally bring back some, partners for Batman, and let's see them in dark, gritty light. If you want to like eventually get to the Batman, the Killing Joke on screen, if you actually want to do that as part of the film, we're gonna need Batwoman. If you actually want to get like Under the Red Hood, on screen in a live action film. We need Jason, but we need Dick before, and we need that Nightwing film as well, man. Like, so yeah, I want them to do Batman, but let's have his partners as well, man. Come on,
let's get Batman done right first, which we're already on the right track with. They've done it. I think it's good that they've teased the Joker. I don't want them to bring in Joker in the next movie. Hold off on him. Kind of do a Thanos tease on him. Like, we know he's coming, just hold off on him.
I personally wouldn't want them to do Joker until film number 4, which would be a Killing Joke film for me. Yeah. And where Joker does that.
Oh, madness. Jesus. Can you imagine that Joker doing the rape scene? Oh, fuck.
Fuck. Jesus. I don't know. I don't think they'll have the balls to ever do that live action.
No chance. That's the way they portrayed this Joker. If they did the Killing Joke, that would be a little bit too The Hills Have Eyes. It really would, though. But just if they did this is just, again, my idea going mad here. The Mr. Freeze that we got in the animated series is such a fucking cool character, pun intended. Such a cool character. To have that Mr. Freeze, because you genuinely feel for him. He's almost not a villain, such is the level you feel for him. Like, the guy literally just wants to save his wife. That's his whole crux. He doesn't have plans for world domination. He wants to save his wife. But the means for doing that are not good. He's a fucking brilliantly complex villain. If you have a villain like that in a Matt Reeves Gotham, oh my word, that would be cool.
Yeah, just freezing people with liquid nitrogen or something.
This is what I'm saying. That's all it is. Like, that's some real shit right there. Just, you could make him kind of like a torturer or something. Have him pour little vials of liquid nitrogen on people's kneecaps. I've thought about this way too much, but it's
Well, you know
man.
what? To be honest, again, like with the sequel, because of how the Batman ended, yeah, they could easily do a whole thing where it's kind of like the game The Division, where all of these gangs shape up and like they've all got different like sort of motives. Whereas they
Yeah.
got the burners in that game, you could have the
Yeah.
freezers and like have Mr. Freeze and them freezing people and just see some brutality that we haven't seen in the Batman film.
You could. But while on the topic of the Batman, do you know the one thing I never thought they were going to be able to pull off? Because I was like, well, how? I know you're not going to agree because you love the Tumbler, but bro, that muscle car that he had, that thing was a monster. That
One of the
scene where
best scenes in the
Penguins,
film.
it really was. Like that scene where Penguin's getting into his car thinking he's got away, and you just hear that. that it was like a monster being let out of its cage, and Colin Farrell's what the fuck is that face was mate, that scene was so pitch perfect.
But the one thing I do want to see in the sequels is I can take it that this is still beta Batman. Yeah, he's still coming into his own. But
Year
Batman's
one,
a
innit?
billionaire. Batman's a billionaire. He needs to have better gadgets than what he's got. Like, some better gadgets come up. Yeah, a billionaire could do a lot.
I think now here's a question. Do you think they go down in this Batman? Do you think they should go down the Lucius Fox route or the Alfred is a brilliant man route?
I feel like probably both at some point. Yeah. Like at some point, like there can be something that happens. Like it depends how you want to bring Lucius into this. Like, does he come in this film? Does he come in the next film?
If at all.
Yeah, if at all. Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it could just be Batman and Alfred doing their thing.
Yeah.
But we need to just see some of the more high-tech gadgets, that he can use to fight crime. I get, like, it was fun seeing him on the street, the nitty-gritty, just walking, yeah, but get yourself a proper blinder,
bro. When he smashes that guy's face in and just says, "I'm vengeance," I was like, "Oh my fucking god, this is the Batman I've been wanting." Like, it was just perfection to me. He is such a great Batman. Rob Barber says, "Get a Robin to be the Lucius Alfred." 2 birds, 1 stone. Everything is possible. Big Tone, you're number 2.
Okay, so we talk about films that I probably want to be adapted into a live action film more than others. Even more than The Mask of Phantasm, even more than Justice League Apocalypse, Dark War, is Batman Underneath the Red Hood.
It's funny you say that because that is also my number 2.
Wow, what a film. And again, what an adaptation.
The most hardcore Joker ever.
Oh, yeah, man.
Worse than the Killing Joke. This is the worst Joker.
That bit where Joker was like smiling, just hopped out, bouncing. It's such a serious moment, but Joker just bouncing out on his chair into the middle of the room to just incite, like, Red Hood. Man, that was great. The way they showed that
part on the bridge where he drops the matches into the police truck, I was like, "Oh wow, we just gone straight up and burn people alive." Okay, that's the Batman we're in.
For real. And I hope if they ever do the storyline, they've got to do it justice, especially like that amazing speech at the end, the conversation. Again, like I said, the Joker just hopped out, but the conversation between Batman and Jason Todd, amazing. Like I'm not talking about Kid Dent or any of the other rogues, but why is this piece of trash alive? And like, I find myself siding with Jason on this, man. I know Batman is the moral choice, but man, how many people in that film alone did Joker kill?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, how? There has to be a point where your morality breaks and you just go, for the greater good. Like,
Yeah.
this is dangerous having him alive.
I mean, like they've done these Red Hood adaptations here and there. Like
Arkham Knight.
most recently, the Titans in it. Like they've tried to do it in, but all of them pale in comparison. Yeah. Hell, even Arkham Knight pales in comparison
It
to how
does
they
pale
did
in
it
comparison.
in
It
this film.
absolutely does.
And like this is again makes me upset that you've got stuff like this under your radar, under your cap,
Yeah.
but you're not using it. Yeah.
Just make it.
Like,
Right?
just
Just fucking make it.
Like realistic, I just look so many times and think, really, on paper, literal paper, we're talking about comic books and graphic novels. DC could be ahead. Yeah. But
Should be.
Should I say could be because again there are some classic Marvel storylines as well.
Bro, they've got the 3 biggest superheroes in the world, non-argument. This shouldn't be a competition. No, today there is because they've let Marvel catch up. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But like, yes, they had the Trinity. Yeah. And like again, they really had the material and some of the greatest storylines ever written, especially with Batman. Yeah. And like all they just need to do is make them.
Here to that, my brother. Here to that. Just before we reveal our number ones, we're going to have one last little moment from Kevin Conroy.
Let's face it, Batman is complicated. He's got issues. He's dark. He's got problems, and he overcomes them all, which is what people love about him. But he has no superpowers. And Superman is, square-jawed, farm-fed. He's just so boring. He's got no issues. He can see through walls. He can jump over planes. He can fly. I mean, what's the channel? Well, what's the challenge for him, Tim and I love Tim. We work well together. We kid each other a lot about this. He's always like, yeah, but Batman is so screwed up. I say, yeah, but Superman is so boring. But you're right. In the most recent film, they've given Superman, they've dirtied him up a little bit, which I think is really smart because he was dull, That's why I feel so lucky to have started. I mean, this is the first animated role I ever auditioned for. I got the brass ring. It's the most. Everyone says, "What other superhero would you want to play?" And I said, "Are you kidding? What other superhero is there? I got the best one. I started with the best one. He's so complicated. There's so much meat to bite into with him, It never ends. So I was just really, really lucky."
I think that's
Love it.
I love the fact that after 27 years he still knew that.
And has that amount of passion. Yeah. I mean, like, I am a Superman guy. Superman is my number one.
So you loved hearing that.
But you know what? Even as that, because Batman's my number 2, I couldn't agree more with what he's saying. Because again, Batman is so engaging. Yeah. It's because he is human, which makes his stories the most interesting. Like, because you could. It's the most relatable. His characters are the most like down to earth and psychological, and there's so many nuances where you can go down. I mean, like all the movies in this list have shown very different elements and sides to how you can utilize Batman. It's no wonder, he's been around as like one of the golden three for so many years.
He is easily my favorite DC character. Easily, he's not my favorite comic book character. That will always stay with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Not Doctor Strange in the MCU. Comic book Doctor Strange. But yeah, Batman is in my top 3 easily. Big Tom, what's your number 1?
I hate to be that guy. I like, was all waiting for it, but I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it. The Nolan trilogy.
Had to do it.
For me, this is like the epitome of Batman. Yeah, like this is like the most well tied together series of Batman movies. Yes, it did dip a little bit in the third one, but again, like Nico said, I feel like it's a bit underrated. Yeah. And like I feel like that there was parts to the third one even. Like I liked Bane. I liked Tom Hardy's portrayal of Bane. Yes,
Yeah.
the voice was a little funny.
The
and
voice
everything.
stupid as fuck.
And there is a lot of plot holes in that. But again, like I liked the
Hate the way
players.
they snuffed Tom Hardy.
Oh yeah. Well, I hate the way in it like that. Basically, they crippled Batman for how many years? Like I would have loved him to be on the street as Batman those 8 years. Yeah, and
Yeah.
had fought his entire rogue gallery. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but like and the half-hearted silly way they introduced the Robin was like,
Yeah, it wasn't good.
yeah. But all right, let's take that movie to the side and let's talk about two of the greatest superhero films of all time. Yeah.
Yes.
If you want to say an origin story where you got it 120% right. Yeah. It was Batman Begins. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember being like a cinema usher, like at that time in my life.
Oh
when
shit!
that
Nice.
was out. Yeah. And I was checking the screens. And like before actually seeing it, I had no interest really that much in Batman. Why? Because X-Men was out. Spider-Man was out, man. Those movies were amazing. Yeah. And like, oh, what we're going back to Batman. What Batman and Robin after what happened with the fourth film. I didn't really care
Right.
about the Batman film
Right.
right about then. But then one glimpse, one scene, yeah, of watching that. I had to go see that film that night.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this looks like this is like what I want. This is like
Yeah.
my dark ass graphic novel collection. Yeah, this is what I want to. I like it. I went to see it and it knocked it out the park, man.
Yeah.
All the what's it characters, everyone from Rachel Dawes to Raj Al Ghul, Liam Nielsen, everyone that killed it, man. Lucius Fox, man. Michael Caine was inspired, like casting as Alfred. Yeah, and I think we could agree that's the best Alfred. Yeah.
Are we
Come
counting
on.
animated? Are we counting animated?
He's better than animated, I would say.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, I would say that is the best depiction of Alfred. Because again, Alfred wasn't there just as a side piece; he was there as like had a lot to do. Yeah.
Some of his
man.
monologues in The Dark Knight were very good. His whole thing about that thief in Burma stealing rubies and giving them back, I thought that was fucking good.
Oh yeah, and like again, moving on to The Dark Knight, look, there's always going to be films that are in the top contention spot for greatest superhero film of all time. Yeah.
Yep.
Avengers is one. Captain America 2 is another. Yeah.
Yes.
Like and The Dark Knight is definitely there, and it deservedly
100%.
so. Because again, like not just because of the performance of the late great Heath Ledger as the Joker. Like I mean, that is like the main, like probably the main reason, the main meat and potatoes. But there was so much more there, and how everything tied together. Like the storyline, it made like sense. Yeah, the carnage, the moments, like the bit with like when the tumbler gets destroyed, it comes out, and then the music starts.
The prison scene, the interrogation room scene is one of the greatest scenes ever done.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's insane.
Did the lights go off, come back on? Never start with the head. And like Joker had so many lines, man. The way you threw yourself off there after.
No, but it's when Batman's wailing on him. He's like, "You have nothing, nothing." It's so
bad. So many things. Do you want to see a magic trick?
I'm going to tell you where they both are, and that's the point. It's like,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, Oh yeah, man! Like and yeah, can't forget Two-Face, Harvey Dent, and I thought that was
Oh, I loved
such
what
a
they did with him.
good like origin story and way to do it. Yeah, my only pity is that
Rachel!
like yeah,
Rachel!
like, my only pity is that they kind of offed him.
Yeah.
Like I wish that he would have stuck around to like be a recurring villain for him.
Well, from what
But
I've read, again, different reports say different things, but from what I've read, he was never meant to be in this movie. He was meant to be the villain in the third movie, and they had to bring him in because, Heath bit it.
oh, okay. Well, they had to kill him then. They could have bought him, but like whatever, man. Like it's all down in history now, and it was a great, excellent. And that exiting monologue, man. If you're a comic back fan and you don't get goosebumps at that, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
like
bro, it's all real. It's all real. There's one thing I'll say, which you mentioned earlier, which in relation to Dawn of Justice, people are going to lose their mind here, but I agree with what you said. I don't think there is an action scene in any of the Nolan movies that can hold a candle to that warehouse scene in terms of Batman fighting.
That's why it's on the list, isn't it? Despite like there being such a letdown like in that film and silliness, yeah. That one scene, my gosh, that
It's
there's nothing
insane.
explosive as that. Yeah.
It's
Now
insane.
in the Nolan films, you did have great parts. Like I said, I will sometimes just go and watch in Batman Begins the first tumbler chase. Yeah, because I love that
great.
whole part. Like again, he gets the bats. He's like, "Oh, what's that? Back up." Yeah, he just like they're playing the music again. The score for the Nolan trilogy, excellent. Hans Zimmer, man, turned it up to 11, man.
Yeah.
And then you just see Batman just jump down through the bats. Oh, where's your car? I bought mine. And you just see it like again, like I think probably the Batman might have had a tad bit better intro, yeah, with their Batmobile, but the chase in the Tumbler for me that's the best Batmobile chase of all time. Like he's going against Roos, he's pancaking cars, like that whole bit where it's
I think the chase in the Dark Knight is better.
Music.
I think the chase in the Dark Knight is better.
But that's with the Batpod though. Like that's
it starts with the Tumbler. It starts with the Tumbler.
I give you that. Yeah.
The truck flip. I mean, what the fuck? What?
That was mad.
It was,
and again, like, wasn't really expecting that to happen. Like, because they didn't actually play the music. I was a bit disappointed with the start of that it wasn't playing the same music that they played in Batman Begins, like when they was having the chase. But then it came out when the Tumbler turned into the roller. Yeah, it was yeah. And then like of course what he did, fit the truck. Joker got
because he wanted to.
Well,
so good.
Hell, man! One thing I got to touch on is the opening of that film. The opening of that film might be one of the best openings to a film I've seen. Yeah,
big wide IMAX, zooming in on window, and then just
engaging and falling. Yeah, you know what was happening, but that music.
Oh, it gets you straight away.
And then, of course, Heath Ledger smashed it. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger.
Like, what can we say about Heath Ledger at this point that hasn't been said already?
We could like I know there's a lot of there's many Jokers, and like I said, it's all good. But for me personally,
Heath is the best.
That is the portrayal of Joker for me.
Yeah, 100%.
There's too many one-liners. There's just too many like believable parts. Like when he snaps the sticks, make it quick. When he's sitting on top of the cash and just throws a piece of the cash at the what's his name's head, the accountant's head. That's hilarious. He tips the line.
Just when he jumps out of the bike and goes, "How about alive?" It's.
He tips the line between being hilarious and psychotic at the same time.
Yeah.
But generally scary as well. Yeah, like come on, when he blew up the hospital.
Yeah.
He blew up the hospital.
The hospital scene.
Come on, man.
That hospital scene was so good. But even that was funny, you know, when he kind of woke Harvey up and he's sitting in a nurse's outfit and just kind of does a cheeky grin.
It's like,
Hi.
he's like, hi.
I'm like a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught it. You know, it's so good.
And
So
this might be a popular thing to say, but for me, I really did like Christian Bale's like portrayal of Batman, like more than any other. Because again, if I'm to
except
picture,
Kevin Conroy.
well, Kevin Conroy for me, like again, I put him in different leagues because one was live action, one was animation. Yeah, if we were to go up against Kevin Conroy's career against those three films, I was probably go with Conroy. Yeah, because again, Arkham games pushed it over the edge there. Yeah, but like if we're going strictly live action, man, I can't picture in real life anyone legitimately going up there and beating the hell out of people in the street like Christian Bale. If I see that Batman walking up to me, I'm generally I'm doing try and run, and probably won't get far, but man, that guy, he was tonk. Like yes, people didn't like the voice, but I thought, what, he's supposed to speak with
I didn't mind the voice at all.
Yeah, exactly, man. And you know, he's had that iconic scene which everyone uses. What are you? I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. It's so good. Rob Barber says, "Don't get on his set." It's a reference to. Did you hear about this, Big Tone? The shit that went down on the Terminator Salvation set.
Oh yeah, I've heard about.
He lost his
demeanor.
fucking mind. Don't fuck with the method actor in full flow. That's all. Tucky says Batman Begins is not only my favorite superhero movie, it's one of my favorite movies. Full stop. It's near perfect.
Oh,
do you know
for real?
Do you know the one thing I would change about Batman Begins, which they made better in Dark Knight? When you're fighting, pull the camera back a little bit so I can see what's going on. The fights were messy. I agree. Didn't follow.
But it's not one of the most egregious offenders.
No. It doesn't bump the movie down at all. It's like it's just a passing comment.
No. What I'm trying to say is that was when they was sort of starting to do that. Yeah, but then like in subsequent films, it just got so bad that like, what am I watching here? Like it's just
really, right? So many action movies coming out around that time. The first Transformers movie was a bit guilty of that. It's like, bring the camera back. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what's going on.
Another moment from Batman Begins that I have to like bring up in it. That part where, like, you know, he's gliding through the sky. You hear the screaming, and Ra's al Ghul, like, you know, looks like, oh, something's coming, and you just see that shot of Batman just fly up there, like, oh, that's superhero movie like stuff, man.
It is
the way that film ended, like one of my favorite lines of any superhero film. I never did say thank you, and you'll never have to. And then just flies off. Yes, that's how you end the film.
So good, and
they better be in Dark Knight, but hey,
and perfectly reflects what Kevin Conroy was saying before about he's not doing this for personal gain. He's doing this selflessly. That's what makes him so great. Tucky asks, am I the only one who preferred Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes over Maggie Gyllenhaal? I can't speak for everyone, but for me, yes.
What you preferred Rachel Dawes?
No, I preferred Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rachel Dawes. I didn't like Katie Holmes.
Oh no, I thought they were both fine. They both did what they were supposed to do. Like I wouldn't look at any of them and say who was better, to be honest. Like they were just good, both good actresses.
I'm a big Maggie Gyllenhaal fan, massive Maggie Gyllenhaal fan. A few questions from Billy Mount. Oh yes. Nico, are you looking forward to The Whale so much? And I'm devastated that we don't get it in the UK until February. Christian Bale always freaks out in his movies. Yes, he does. No, none more so than The Fighter. I encourage you to watch that. To both of us, Big Tone, what did you think of Bale in Thor: Love and Thunder? One of the few good things about the movie.
wasted opportunity for me. Like, you started off with such an excellent opening, yeah, and like a story arc for him, yeah. Now, for me, if I was doing Thor and Love and Thunder, that would have been half that film. Literally, would have been a gore film, yeah. Like, we would have seen him
Actually
going around.
butchering gods.
Yes, we'd have seen him. Right? Why would you cut out the part where he cuts off Sif's arm? That should be in there. That should be shocking. That should be like, wow. Yeah, we should see him killing God's left and right. We should see badass moments. We should see him almost as in like sort of a dark angel of vengeance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like actually sort of sympathize with him. The best villains Marvel has pulled out are ones that we actually sort of sympathize with their cause. Yeah. Or it can at least seem plausible. Killmonger, what's it, Thanos, even Namor, and what's it, Alpha. Yeah.
Loki.
Like, yeah, Loki as well. But Loki is more just we like him because of the swag. Yeah.
Ultron.
Ultron, but again, I still feel they messed up that storyline. But hey,
I love that film.
I love that film. It's a good film. It's a good film, but you know, Age of Ultron, the comics, man. Again, like go on those comic.
It's another thing. It's another
go
thing.
on the Comic Explained and watch like the audio, like compilation of all of those comics put together, and you'll see why.
It's a different thing. But Thor Love and Thunder, I found so weird. It's like we've now got established Norse gods, Greek gods, Egyptian gods. Kill some of them. Like shit.
Look, there's a lot of stuff about that. Again, also the sort of the watering down of Zeus. Why? Zeus is very powerful, man. Right? Why are they doing that to him? Other stuff like I hate when they do stuff like they just whip out powers for the sake of a moment. That bit at the end where all the kids could become Thor. Thor, if you could do that, why didn't you do that in the first battle in Infinity War? And like have about 1,000 Wakandans as Thors. You would kick the crap out of everyone.
Yeah. Plot armor. Stupid.
You know, again, there's a lot of powers that they show in these films that are circumstantial. Like I said, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is the biggest offender because, man, there's so many things that Strange could have done to Wanda. Yeah. Or even Wanda could have done herself that we've seen in other films. But nah, let's just get to the point where they fight and then not even have them fight properly. He fought Thanos with 3 Infinity Stones and did better than he did against Wanda.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right, man. My number one then, to wrap this show up, my number one is the punt from earlier, big man. Big old punt it was. It is The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. These films, for me, are... I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I think I said this on the Batman episode. They're my favorite Batman movies ever. Over the Nolan stuff, over anything. I love what they did with Gotham in this movie. I love the fact that Batman's a bit older. I love the fact that Gotham has kind of fallen into decay despite him still being around. I love the fact that for the first fucking time, he's kind of got to not break, but bend that morality of his, you know, when he rustles the gangs up. I love the depictions of some of the rogue gallery in here. Like Two-Face was incredible in this film. I thought, oh god, the Joker in this film was fucking amazing, man. Not as good as Red Hood Joker, but up there. Hey, Ton's mum. Big Ton turning off the camera. Let me just mute the man. But yeah, I'm gonna go on my own here for a moment, guys. Big Tone will be back in a moment. But yeah, Big Tone's back. Let me unmute him and we're good. Hello, Big Tone. But yeah, just saying what I was saying, Tone, what they did with the rogue gallery in this, like, for me, the best Two-Face we've ever seen, including Nolan. This was the quintessential Two-Face for me. And not the best Joker, but up there. And I love the fact that this Joker kind of went king of comedy before Joker the movie went king of comedy. Like that whole talk show where he smashes the mug and slits the guy's throat on live TV. I was like, Yeah, there you go. And I love the fact that the way they were building up to the Joker for part 2 with just seeing that guy in the mental asylum, just playing with that little pearl but not smiling, and then the twitching, and then the smile gradually breaks at the end, and it's because the news broadcast that Batman has kind of bent his morality, and that makes him smile again because he knows that he's been pushed over the edge and he can fuck with him again. And boy, does he. And the Joker ends up breaking his own neck. And of course, how do we talk about The Dark Knight Returns without talking about arguably the greatest superhero fight ever? You fucking got Batman versus Superman. This is what Dawn of Justice should have been. I loved the way they showed Batman recruiting Oliver Queen. I loved the trap that Batman set for Superman. I love the fact that Superman was still the Boy Scout until the end and wanted to be, Mr. Goody Goody, despite the president saying that he needs to stop him. Batman bitch slapped him. Absolutely bitch slapped him. He was smart. He wasn't strong. He was smart. Use some kryptonite, use a bonding agent on him to fuck him. And then even as Superman's being pounded on, you still see that goodness in him. Bruce, your heart. But then Batman's like, fuck that. And he delivers. Oh, the best line ever.
I want you to remember that. I wanted to remind you to stay out of my way. In all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
Bro, the hairs on my arms are standing up. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. Oh my fucking word. How do you top that?
Well, technically, it was more like 3 men, but hey. As a Superman fan, I was always salty about that. But then as a Batman fan, I always thought it was the most badass thing ever. Yeah. Because, again, that was the fight between Batman and Superman. Yeah. And elements of it went how it should go, with Superman just be like, Bruce, come on. But then, he did his thing. He did what Superman very good. Yeah. I like this film because you can see Batman is always just slowly breaking, slowly towing the line. Yeah. I also like how they introduced Robin in this film. Yeah.
Yeah, what's her name? Fucking
Carly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever get the chance, try and sort out the graphic novels for The Dark
Frank
Knight
Miller.
Returns, Part 2. The Part 2 is nuts. The graphic novels, not the film.
Yeah.
It is nuts, and we see that Batman is actually quite a bit of a psycho. Yeah, and we see what happens to his old sidekicks and everything. It's like, wow, hell of a read, man. But yeah, this film, again, as adaptations go, yeah, this is brilliant.
It's close to
adaptation.
perfection. The only thing that's not perfect about it, and it's funny because that's what today's whole show is about, I still would have had Conroy doing the voice. That was the one thing.
Yeah.
Every time I was hearing him, I was like, oh, I wish it was fucking Kevin's voice here. That's the only complaint I have with this movie. That's Big Tone's top 10. That is my top 10. Big Tone, we need to make a Rushmore out of this. Could I advocate, just because we did a Batman episode earlier this year, tell me what you think of this. Could I advocate that we don't do any Nolan and any Burton?
Yeah, you know what? Because again, we put the Dark Knight on the other list, didn't we?
The Dark Knight, Batman Returns. Yeah, Batman Returns. Yeah, we put a load of Burton and Nolan on.
Yeah, no, what's it? No Nolan, no Burton. I agree.
Love it. So now, how do we do this? I guess I imagine you'll want to fight for Dark Apocalypse, right?
No, I would say definitely Batman Under the Red Hood.
Under the Red Hood. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
The Dark Knight Returns.
I'm happy with that too. Very happy with that.
The Batman.
Yes.
And like that now, like it gets tricky because
Mask of the Phantasm.
you know what? Because it's Conroy tribute, Mask of the
Yeah,
Phantasm.
let's do that. That was very easy. If I do the tapping in the voice, are you cool to read these out?
Yeah. No particular order, right?
No particular order. Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of movies Batman has appeared in, excluding Christopher Nolan verse and Tim Burton, in no particular order, is
Batman Underneath the Red Hood.
our second entry is
Batman The Dark Knight Returns Parts 1 and 2.
our third entry is
This year's hit, The Batman.
our final entry into the movie Mount Rushmore of movies Batman has appeared in, excluding Christopher Nolan and Tim Burton verse, is
Mascot of Phantasm, R.I.P. Kevin Conroy.
oh, dude. It actually almost hurts to hit end on this live stream recording because this, for us at least in our little sphere of film family, this is kind of putting the pin in it, isn't it? It hurts. It really, really, really stings to say goodbye to him. But he's kept us entertained.
And he leaves a legacy.
He leaves a legacy. I'd like to think that he's immortal. I'd certainly like to think that the animation is going to last the test of time. I'll be showing my daughter the Batman animated series as soon as she's old enough, as I'm sure you will do with your kids. And I really, really hope that everyone shows this to their kids and Kevin Conroy's work. I really don't want it to die out. Long may it live. But
he'll live on because, again, they'll always have on in syndication Batman the animated show, and they'll also have Justice League Unlimited.
That's true. That's very true. Well, we hope. We live and hope. We live and hope that he will be eternal. Big thank you to Kevin Conroy for his years of dedication. Big thank you to everyone in the film family for joining us as always. AJ should be back next week, table allowing. And of course, a big thank you to Big Tone, who literally out of the blue was able to come and join us on the show. So big man, thank you for saving my skin and coming to do this with me this evening. It's been a long one, but appreciate having you here, brother.
You're welcome.
Anything you want to plug before we leave?
I just want to plug on this little other show that we do. It's called Ministry of Wrestling.
Yes.
And I believe we have a show coming up this week, don't we, Nico?
We do indeed have a show coming up this week on Ministry of Wrestling, where we will be doing our predictions for AEW's latest pay-per-view, Full Gear. If MJF doesn't fucking win the title, we riot. Just saying. But guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, as I said, please do hit the like, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, bring some people to the film family with you. Please, Salim Wiki Khan, thank you for joining us this evening, brother. Sorry you only caught the end. You can watch the video back on demand. Obviously, everything is available on podcasts, so any podcast platform and Spotify, you can find this. Just search Movie Mount Rushmore. And AJ should be back next week, and we'll be doing this week's topic next week, which is the top 10 movies on a plane. So until then, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Big Tone.
Big Tone, out the song. Have a good night, everyone.
See you guys.